Guys, Detroit Den 313 will back fresh off dinner, feeling good. Uh Night before we go against those cowgirls, man. Let me stop. I don't want to hammer those guys too bad, but you guys know how I feel if you watch our show about the Cowboys. I'm not a big fan. Micah Parsons seems like he's always got something negative to say about the Detroit Lions or the Detroit fan base from when he was talking about why people will want to come here, yada, yada, yada. I won't get into that. We're going to talk about football. Before I do, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously. You guys have been doing it, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Now, let's get into some football talk. Dallas Cowboys versus Detroit Lions. A lot of people are picking these Cowboys, man. I'm not surprised about it from the professionals. I see what they see and I understand where they're coming from, but I've been seeing a lot of it from Detroit Lions content creators. That surprises me a little bit. It seems like our content creators would be more confident with what we have here in Detroit. And I think that there's some things that the professionals who have to watch every single team as closely as possible are missing when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Now I'm not saying that to say that we're going to go in there and run over the Cowboys, but I do feel like there's a path for us to have great success against the Cowboys. And here's my thoughts on it. First things first, we have to run the football. And we have the type of team who could run the football on anyone. I'm almost to a point. I feel like if Jesus put together a team, we might be able to just run the football on them. We have to me the best run game in the NFL. Guys, if I'm crazy, please put it in the comments and tell me who you think has a better run game than us. I think we got the best two-headed monster. I think we have the best, if not one of the best offensive lines in the league. I just feel like we should be able to run the football anybody in the NFL. And if we can run the football against Dallas, they're going to be hard pressed to control this game, especially us being 6 point underdogs, which was another thing that was kind of surprising with me with how good our run game is. Now, is there a path for us to get blasted? Absolutely. Dak is one of those guys. He kind of reminds me of Jared Goff in this sense. Don't hammer me yet. In this sense, Dak is the type of quarterback who one week he can look like a top five quarterback. He can look like somebody who should be up in an MVP conversation. Then the following week, he can look like he should be a backup in the NFL. So a lot of this thing is also going to be predicated on can our defense do enough to slow Dak down, the Dak and CD show? Can we slow that down? And can we confuse him? Can we keep him on his heels? Can we make their drives count? Right? Can we control this game and make their drives when they get the football? We've just ran the ball down their throats. We've controlled the clock. Now, this drive matters more than it is when they can just air it out, maybe get a lead, and maybe play a little loose and free. Right? That's what it's going to boil down to. Can we keep Dak tight? Why I think there's a path, even though people hammer our defense. Melifonwu, we found a dog in our secondary just here in the last recent weeks. And by found, I've already told you guys, it's not anything new. It's not someone that the organization didn't know about, but he's suddenly got healthy and he's gotten the opportunity to show what he can do. Then we still got Brian Branch, right? We still got Kirby Joseph playing center field. We still got guys like Tracy Walker that can come in as a reserve. We got the Ancelonis. Isaiah Buggs is coming on. The list goes on. Do we have the type of defense that's going to come out and shut you down? Absolutely. We don't, right? We don't. But we have so many guys that are ball hawks, guys that find their way around the football. How many times this year have you seen Brian Branch punch a football out? Right? That because he's a ball hawk. That's what he does. That's his style of play. Cam Sutton also punches at footballs, right? He's also just a gritty player that'll come up and tackle, right? Kirby Joseph is a center fielder. He just finds a way to get his hands on footballs, right? When you have ball hawks out there defensively, you have an opportunity to get takeaways. So for a defense, maybe we're not the type of defense, not maybe, we're not the type of defense that's just going to line up, shut you down, and not let you do anything. But if you make a mistake, we can get a takeaway, right? If you don't secure that ball just right, we can punch it out. If you make an error throw, we got a center fielder that can cover a whole lot of ground, right? So, guys, I think If we can get a couple of takeaways, if we can control this run game, we have the recipe to be successful against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there's some other things that I think that we need to obviously talk about, and the main one being Micah Parsons, right? Micah Parsons is a problem. We know that. A lot of people have talked about the matchup between him and Penei Sewell. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We're not going to see that matchup exclusively. We might see 8 meaningful snaps, 8 third downs where he's lined up against Penei and it's time to rush. We'd be lucky to see that. But outside of that, they're going to move him around. He's going to be on one edge, the other edge. They'll put him in the middle of the field. They're not just going to line him up and let Penei deal with him all game. They're going to move him everywhere because he has an ability to be able to do that. I don't blame him, right? But I am excited to see and probably most likely go back to all 22 and watch how that matchup goes. But we have to slow Micah down with the run game. Don't let him pin his ears back. Let them play with a lead. Let him know that we're going to be throwing the ball around and just rush the quarterback all day. Let them play from behind. Let them play in a tight game where he doesn't know if we're running or passing, and make him deal with our mauling offensive linemen and our run blocking. Right? And it could be a recipe for disaster for those guys. That to me is how we get these Cowboys on skates. That's how we set up a path for us to be successful. And that is how we win and give ourselves an opportunity for a 1 seed, right? Going into these playoffs. Now, I know we need things to happen for us to be a 1, but if not a 2, we're still talking home playoff games, man. We're still talking an opportunity to get some momentum going. I said it once, I said it again. What we need to be playing in February is happening. This team is not being the same team. They're changing, they're adapting at the right time. We're getting healthy at the right time. We're getting better at the right time, right? And we have an opportunity to be multiple, right? We have an opportunity to do things differently each week. We can feature a different guy offensively. We can feature Jahmyr Gibbs, right? We can feature David Montgomery and then put Jahmyr Gibbs as a receiver, right? And I know that we're not just going to line them up at slot receiver, but we can go 2 backs, which I haven't seen a lot of, with Montgomery and Gibbs out there, and Gibbs coming out of the backfield. We can line them up as a slot style receiver. We can feature Jameson Williams, which we've seen a little bit more. And Jared Goff even made the comment that he has absolute confidence in Jameson Williams now. Like defensively, the same thing. We got Melifonwu. We can do so many things. He can play in the box. He can play in the back end. Being able to get a lean, yada, 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 whatever. I don't want to turn this into our path to the Super Bowl, but I truly believe this week, Dan Campbell's already stated, hey, these guys can rest in the offseason. Right now, it's all gas, no brakes. We can set the tone for how we play against playoff caliber teams this week. I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to give us a lot of information on what to look for moving forward. And if you're asking me who I'm picking, I don't care about any what are they? The 6-point underdogs and this and that. If we run this football, the Dallas Cowboys are in trouble. Tell me how you feel about it. Put it in the comments. And until next time, peace.